The discovery of the Americas. Ah. And no, before this begins, Christopher Columbus and the Pilgrims were not the first, and neither was Leif Erikson. The credited first discovery of the New World probably occurred during the end of the Pleistocene epoch. With anthropology, many scholars uphold the theory of coastal migrations by foot and/or boat across what is known as the Bering Straits land bridge. Asiatic ethnic groups of today's populations in the areas of Siberia, Alaska, and elsewhere in the Americas have been sampled, and through detailed analysis there has been 3 to 4 ethnic migrations across the Bering Straits. Showing this video I dug up from the archives, it is not quite accurate, but it does get the point across. Archaeology is critical with early discoveries in the Americas, with Monte Verde in Chile dating back to 14,000 to 16,000 before present. There has been much interest in early sites in the Americas. Additionally, in Oregon and Washington, it has also been cited as being associated to the early Pleistocene. Another old American site in the Mojave Desert brought us the Calico Man, and this site also shared similar dates to that of Monte Verde. However, it should be noted that there are earlier sites recorded in Siberia. The closest area to Siberia relating to the topic would be Alaska, and the sites recorded in Alaska do correlate with Siberia, but there is not enough evidence to suggest any time later than the date 16,000 before present across the Bering Straits. As for the cultural remnants before Columbian contact, the system of economy was essentially foraging on land or water. So many groups gathered berries, sprouts, flowers, and other vegetables. But fishing and hunting were great ways to bring the food to the family and community. Amongst their strategies, they would use nets, poles, spears, and hands to lure in the bait. Amongst the traditional game selection around the Bering Straits areas were reindeer, bear, and seals. And in many circumstances, the spear was an important tool for the success of the hunt. I cannot truly suggest these societies were egalitarian, but they sure were complex. The ethnic group, the Alouettes, were well adapted to maritime travel, but had very complex burial practices with a concept of an afterlife. Another ethnic group, known as the Tlingit, were known for having potlatch ceremonies, but they were also well recorded of having a complex practice with the dead, where the soul is on the earth for a period of time, and after a few days, a few songs, and a feast, the soul is able to go back to its otherworldly place. Even from listening to the singing styles of the Mongolian throat singers and the Inuit throat singers, there is evidence of ethnomusicological migrations through this area. One of the last pieces of evidence comes from the similarities in language and folktales shared in East and West Beringia. There is a well-known folktale of a raven that is shared in Siberia and parts of Alaska and Canada. Among other theories of comparisons, the Nadine language family was a very useful tool in suggesting early migrations across the Bering Straits, because the language family has even reached parts of South America. Throughout this investigation of pinpointing the first people in the Americas, the theory of the Bering Straits land bridge is quite valid when examining the evidence. Within this, I hope to conserve the theory of the Bering Straits land bridge. I also hope to conserve the cultures that adapted to endure some of the Earth's roughest terrains.